अपने कैरियर में म्यार, हुनर, महारत, जज्बाए हुब्बुल वतनी, दयानतदारी और असूल पसंदी पर सख्ती से कारबंद रहे और पाकिस्तान के मुफाद को हमेशा अपनी जात से बालातर समझा। पाक फजाइया एयर मार्शल असगर खान की खिदमात को सराहते हुए उनको सलाम पेश करते
सर, आपने पाक फजाइया को जदीद तरीन फजाई कुव्वत बनाने में अहम किरदार अदा किया।
सर आपको सलाम।
सर, हम आपके शुक्रगुजार हैं।
Really, I guess this documentary said it all.
और सिर्फ इतना कहूँगा सर, चीते का जिगर चाहिए शाही का तजस्सुस। शुक्रिया एयर मार्शल असगर खान।
Thank you. मेरा सब कुछ मेरे वतन का है।
मैं तो क्या, मेरा सारा मालो मनाल,
मेरा घर बार, मेरे अहलो अयाल,
मेरे इन वलवलों का जाहो जलाल,
मेरी उम्रे रवा के माहो साल,
मेरा सब कुछ मेरे वतन का है।
इसके एहसान गिना नहीं सकता,
पीठ इसको दिखा नहीं सकता,
इसको छोड़ के जा नहीं सकता,
इसका रुतबा गिरा नहीं सकता। मेरा सब कुछ मेरे वतन का है।
आगा शोरिश काश्मीरी की नज्म मेरा सब कुछ मेरे वतन का है कि ये अशार एयर मार्शल असगर खान के मकसद हयात की तर्जुमानी करते हैं। हम दरख्वास्त करेंगे एयर चीफ मार्शल सुहेल अमान, निशान इम्तियाज़ मिलिट्री चीफ ऑफ द एयर स्टाफ से कि वो एयर मार्शल असगर खान साहब को एजाज़ी शील्ड पेश करें।
और अब मैं मुल्तमिस हूँ एयर कॉमोडोर सजाद हैदर सितारा ज़रूरत से कि वो स्टेज पे तशरीफ़ लाएँ और एयर मार्शल असगर खान की शख्सियत और उनकी कौमी खिदमात के हवाले से अपने ख्यालात का इजहार करें। एयर कॉमोडोर सजाद हैदर सितारा ज़रूरत।
I thought only the Pakistan Army used to surprise the Pakistan Air Force in all situations. Whether it was war and peace, they sprung a surprise on Pakistan Air Force that we are starting a war, or we started a war. And this is what I said when I was recently invited to General Headquarters by the Chief. And suddenly they asked me to speak something about the 65 war and the Army's role. And this is what I said. You've always surprised us, but we were trained by Asghar Khan. Not him personally, but his vision, his concept of developing the Air Force, it trickled down to every individual. So I said, you've surprised me now, and I've jumped up like in a scramble, and then I gave peace of my mind. All the generals were sitting there. And General Sawar Khan particularly told me, I'm glad that you hit the nail right on the head. Hey, Chief Marshal, you couldn't have done me a greater favor to give me this moment of pride, to be able to say something about an icon, a living legend. I had the great honor to sit 4 feet from Quaid-e-Azam when I was 13 years old. I was an ardent Muslim League Student Federation worker. And I think that I carried a small brick and laid at Quaid-e-Azam's feet for the foundations of Pakistan, because I was 13 years old. That was long before Pakistan was created. After that, there has never been a leader in this country. Leadership is not understood. Leadership is not something that you get by rank, status, a queen, a king, a commander-in-chief, or a prime minister. Leadership is a stature that you earn through your vision, through your personal character, your resolve, and your ability to bring the weakest to the highest level. And that is what we learned from Air Marshal Asghar Khan, and that's what we passed on to the generation. And I can see some of these young men sitting here who I had the pleasure to serve with. This is a great moment of my life. I didn't know Air Marshal Asghar Khan because I was a flying officer when he became the chief. I was a squadron leader when he retired. The only time that I ever saw Air Marshal Asghar Khan from close was on first week of June 1965. Now remember this, this is a very important thing that I'm telling you, very few people know this, that squadron commanders, such as this humble person, Alauddin Ahmed, one of the greatest pilots that the Pakistan Air Force had, Sarfraz Rafiqi, my batchmate, a greatest fighter pilot that PF had, and I think Waqar Azim and Bil Latif, some of the other base commanders were also there, Sikandar. And we at our low ranks were given a briefing, top secret briefing by the commander-in-chief, whom we were seeing from the first time from that close. And he allocated targets for a future war. Now that may not really sink in its magnitude, that a commander-in-chief is giving squadron commanders their targets by name. It was said that Alauddin Ahmed would lead such and such mission. In fact, he was to lead the mission to Adampur. I was given mission to Ambala, not Pathankot. Pathankot came as a surprise on 6th of September. Nonetheless, the Pakistan Air Force, as has been said quite repeatedly, was given a mission by the father of the nation on that day when Wing Commander Asghar Khan was the commandant of PF Risalpur. And when he said it must be second to none, I've always tried to explain that when Quaid-e-Azam said, Pakistan, a country without a strong air force, shall remain at the mercy of the enemy, who was he addressing? He wasn't addressing Asghar Khan or his pioneer team of pioneers who were sitting there. He was addressing the nation of Pakistan, that you must know that an air force is absolutely essential to protect and defend the country. The second thing he said was, Pakistan must build an air force and build it quickly. Who was that addressed to? The government, to give it the resources. And the last, he said it must be an efficient and second to none. That was aimed at Asghar Khan, and he did that. Within 2 years of his command, Pakistan Air Force created a record, as it was shown, 16 aeroplanes looped. To some it may not mean anything, but I think it stunned the world. The whole world was sitting. I had the honor to be the third person to be selected in that team. Alauddin Ahmed was the second, and Sajad, that was the 4 Falcons that started. And soon after that, the Canberra was dropped by a young flying officer, Yunus. Then it was just a tremendous catapult into the firmament of the best air forces in the world. It was only because of his integrity, his commitment, his resolve. There was no compromise on discipline. Retribution came very swiftly, but after he had made sure that the person was guilty. He was considered to be somewhat obdurate. No, he took advice from everyone. all his staff officers, whatever needed to be done. Once the decision was made, then there was no change from it. And the 65 war, as Air Marshal Noor Khan himself told me several times, was fought by Air Marshal Asghar Khan's Air Force. But led by Noor Khan, it was unfortunate. And I say this, all the emphasis at my command, I say it with my full reputation, had Asghar Khan been not allowed to go away quietly, and 8 more weeks, if he had been allowed by the country's leadership, which had some intriguing reasons not to let him go, if his plan had been executed on 6th of September, to which I was a party, the Indian Air Force, I would say 25% of the Indian Air Force would have been written off on 6th September at 5:05. Unfortunately, unfortunately, that did not happen. And there are reasons that I don't have the time to go into it, but we could have written off 1 quarter. And if that had happened, the history of subcontinent would have been different. The next day mission also somehow could not be followed. Anyway, Air Marshal Asghar Khan left. I got to know him after he left the Pakistan Air Force, and he got to see me a little more during his elections, which I helped him lose. Actually, I think I was responsible for him losing election, but that's beside the joke. It's a great pity that when you see all this, what these great people have presented here, of a man, how many men have you had in this country after Quaid-e-Azam who have achieved such achievements? Indelible achievements, incredible, unmatched. No chief or no prime minister or president can even claim 1/100th of what his achievements were. Why was it? Why is it that he was not allowed to come in to lead the country and take it and try and revive the legacy of Quaid-e-Azam and keep this nation on those tracks? Had they done it, we would not have been today where we are. We would have been one of the best nations in the world. Sir, I salute you, and I pity the nation that did not bring you to the heights where you belong. But that is the tragic story of our lives. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, H.M.
Thank you so much, sir.